Airline.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get it. Need a motion to open the meeting.
I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
Okay, initially, we're going to have a public hearing on the sewer rate increase. So we've got, I'll let Todd go ahead and our water
Yes.
sewer street department superintendent,
Yeah, so
begin that.
we've been looking at this since 2019. Originally, we kind of realized we needed to upgrade there. We got approached with our renewal to our permit. The state added phosphorus to it, which our engineers talked with the state, ended up pushed back. But the problem with our plant is it couldn't remove this. So I kind of put it on the radar. And then it went a step further is we had some people interested in development and bringing sewer in. And we thought we were good. And then after further looking, we found we couldn't handle the flows during wet weather. And that's where we kind of realized, okay, we got a real problem we don't want to talk about. And so since 2019, we've been looking at this, looking at every possible avenue, ran multiple different scenarios, and now here we are 7 years later. We think, it's the best plan going forward. And in the short term, it may, the rates, will go up and it'll hurt a little bit, but as far as the long term goes, it's the best long term solution for the future. So this doesn't have to get fixed.
Like grant research or anything done just so that it doesn't fall on like unconstituent. Like I worked in nonprofit fundraising for a decade, and so like looking at things long term, seeing for bills, for buildings, for infrastructure. Like was there like state or local grants, even like county grants that could have possibly been seen or looked at?
Mr. Klein Peter's gonna respond to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a really great question. I'll do an introduction. Sean Kleinfield, Kleinfield Financial Group. I'm working with the council, your utility, your engineering firm to try to figure out how do we fund this project. So your question is about, if I got it right, did we explore other funding options? So we do this all over the state with a lot of communities your size, so we're pretty fluent with the funding opportunity. So the first place we go is the state revolving fund. Indiana has a really good state revolving fund. They have forgivable bands, which are grants, and they have 0%. But to get those, you got to make what they call the PPL, the project priority list. And so, everybody put everything together, their application, an asset management plan, a PER, preliminary engineering report. They submitted that to the state. It got scored in around July 1st, the PPL came out for fiscal year 2027. Haubstadt did not make the project priority list. So that's the first stop. The next thing that
Is there a reason for that? Like, did they give?
Yeah.
No,
That's a really good question. So you get scored on your application. In each category, you get a certain amount of points. And your engineer is very good at writing the PER to address the issues that they have, but they can't make them up. They can only say, we got these issues. Some utilities are even in worse shape. And if they're in worse shape, then they'll score higher on safety and health and things like that, which bubbles them up to the top. So it's really not just a test of how bad your need is, but where's the even against. So
Like for us, I know for brands, they were there. Their piece that are higher, their needed higher.
yeah, if they were on the PPL, their need was high. There's other factors in there. There's your medium household income, there's another factor in there. and I don't know about branch, but, the state does have what they call disadvantaged communities. A disadvantaged community is a community that their MHI is 80% or lower than the state's MHI, median household income. So a lot of times, communities that you see like this, they are at like $55,000 MHI. And so when your MHI is above that, then that funding opportunity is available to you.
Are we like 75 to?
Yeah, you guys, I don't remember the
It's
number.
right underneath, like 2027.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I know it was in the seventies, I don't remember the number, but just to give you an idea, you're competing against communities that are like at 55 and lower. I mean, I represent communities that have MHI like 42,000. And so they score fairly well. And the state EPL is one funding list with those opportunities. There's another extra benefit, which is being a DAC community, a disadvantaged community. If you make the funding list and your DAC, then that opens up the opportunity for you. Unfortunately, and I'm glad we have some people that remember that number, with an MHI in the seventies, you're not designated as an EG, or sometimes you'll hear this low to moderate income. And the reason I use that is there's another funding grant opportunity through the Office of Community Rural Affairs here in Indiana. They have 2 rounds per year and you can apply for them. The first thing you gotta do to apply is they check their, what they call low to moderate income level. If that number is 51% or higher, then you're eligible to apply. If it's not, if you're within a band, they'll allow you to do an income survey. You guys don't qualify, right? Because you're in the 70 something range. So, and those are first stop funding for communities like yours. So those are the first opportunities that we go after. So those 2 big funding opportunities weren't available with the Channel House.
Where did the town come up with the number what it's gonna cost with this plan?
So we looked before COVID, we had a number. And the issue with our plant is, first thing we did is we looked at, well, we got a plant here and everything, we will just, we'll just upgrade it. But the problem was, we have to keep it running. In order to keep it running at the capacity, we're gonna have to bring in a whole nother plant, like a temporary package plant to run with the plant, keep it going. Whenever you added in that cost and everything, it just made more sense to build new.
Do they know what the new bid's gonna be?
Yes, we have gone through design thoroughly, picked out every little piece of it, basically. And that's what we've been doing over the past 7 years. We went and visited places down in Tennessee, and there's a few around here. It's the plant we're gonna go to, the single battery reactor.
I can add some details to that too, just from my perspective. Right.
I'm sorry first. Because if you know the price of the plant would be, don't you think you ought to know which one pay for the ground, you're gonna put the plant on? Pay for the easements, get through the property, get the plant on?
Well, in the grant scope, so that's minuscule compared to, we're talking
If you-
$17 million.
Did you ask the price of the property?
No, but just looking around,
Have you seen what they paid for the new AI, the new data centers? $150,000 an acre.
yeah, where was that
In
at?
the state,
Where was that at though?
didn't mark it there. They're just in today telling me about it. So. Maybe you don't know exactly what the plant's gonna cost you, right?
But we're also municipal, a little bit different.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add some feedback to the design process that the town went through. And we work with many clients throughout Indiana that work through this process. You talk about 7 years ago, but in 2023, they actually issued a ban, which is a bond anticipation note to start the design process. The reason I say that is this is not a hurry up, let's get it going. This is they really kind of thought very thoughtful about this and said, what kind of design do we want? And what are those alternate designs? You got your engineers here that can talk very specific about those design options that they evaluated, but for the last 3 years, they've been going through this design iteration process and haven't pulled the trigger on what approach to take just yet until they really fully vetted all rarely do I see communities go to this level of detail of design. And here's an option, let's challenge that option, let's see what, let's benchmark other facilities, see what other facilities that have currently done similar work, what do they look like, what have they implemented? But I mean, after 3 years, it's time to move forward. So that's when we put this funding packet together, and that's when we say, okay, how do we move forward and get this $17 million that we alluded to in such a way that we can actually make this happen? And so this is one of the first steps in that process.
All the rates. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, so,
Let me stop. Everybody state your name before you talk, please. And the street that you live on.
Brian, you might not know. So. When you're gonna go, I'm going through the process, and so. Are you getting grants or applying for bonds or all those things? And that's where I just like, get a letter that just says, hey, we're doubling it, just there's a plan, there's a lot of. Things there for us, and so if there would be a breakdown, of those costs and how that's out. But it was helpful to see helpful to just educate a lot of us that
Sure.
just see a number.
Sure. And I hope this form helps provide, at least it starts to provide some of that feedback to give you an idea of, we tried Oprah grant, we tried state revolving fund, the PPL, we look at that community opportunities. Vet those out. Those are our bidders. To your point about bond. So as we move forward with this process, when you issue a debt of 17 million, there's a lot of work there. So we're anticipating this next March to issue that debt, and those will be tax exempt bonds that will be issued on what we call an open market. And so we've got what they call indicative rates, where we check the rates are going to be at, but as you know, especially with a lot of geopolitical things happening, rates tend to move a little bit. So the two big factors between now and when we actually issue that debt is when we go out to bid, how the bid come back, and then where the interest rate ultimately lies. But part of our job when we go out and sell these bonds, those investors are like, hey, how do we know that this community can pay for their research? So there's a lot of financial due diligence that we do to give those investors confidence so that they'll say, yeah, we'll buy them.
Now, are all the rates going to continue the same? There will be the Blue Beacons, the hotel, the Daily Greens, Daily Greens, 100 East Maple Street. Will all the rates continue to be the same? Or is there going to be any kind of a rate adjustment for the businesses, or are all the corporations going to pay the same as the
Consumers.
individuals?
So when it comes to the rate structure, so the rate structure is the blocks that we have and who pays what block, commercial, industrial. On a project like this, we would prefer not to go through and reallocate the blocks. What we normally do is we do what's called an across the board increase. And the reason we do that is everybody that's currently a user utility will be impacted equally moving forward. We can go back after the fact, but as we try to shift the amount of debt to different blocks, it really complicates the system.
So the customers that have to use the lift stations to get their sewage to the sewer plant, and the customers that do not use the lift station, the customers that do not use it have to pay for the lift station for the customers that are using it.
So those factors are already built in your current rate structure.
I understand that, but I'm asking if the new rate structure is going to continue to be one-sided, or if it's going to be a little more.
So the new rate structure is going to be across the board.
So there won't be any room for. We're really not helping the community businesses here with the project you're working on.
Well, that introduced changing your rate structure introduced a whole nother conversation. Because as you can imagine, in some communities, they have a large percentage of elderly people. So they say, hey, those people only use 1,000, 2,000 gallons. I want to cut them a break. Can we change their rate block by 10%? And I tell them, sure, council, you could do that. But remember, the soccer mom with 3 kids, she's gotta make up that 10% difference. And so you get into this discussion about which way you wanna move the rates.
Sometimes I think we're putting the horse in front of the cart here. We're discussing building this new sewer plant. We still don't know where we're gonna build it. We still don't know where the sewer lines are gonna run to. We still don't know what the cost of it is for the property you're gonna build it on. You don't know what the easement's gonna be to run the sewer through the people's properties. There's gonna have to do easements and everything out. And you're giving us a number, what it's gonna take to build it. And you still haven't finalized where the hell it's gonna be.
I'll step in and just, Aaron, running around with engineers, I'll go over kind of the technical layout, whatever things be. So currently the project, wastewater treatment plant's on, it's district, right? So the new sewer plant is proposed to go within the site in some capacity with, limited space. The treatment plant is proposed to go slightly outside the fence line, right? And additionally, there's sewers that are then gonna feed the water, the wastewater treatment plant as well. They have, right, one that goes down this street, which is we'll call the south interceptor into the plant. Then there's also one that cuts across David's property now that goes field, follows the ditch, then comes across to the north side of the wastewater treatment plant. Those are the two main feeds that feed the wastewater, right?
Okay, we'll have to cut through our property somewhere along the line. Oh, you want to tear the road out, put it underneath the road?
Adjacent to the road, yeah, so there's current sewer lines, there's currently 2 sewer lines that run within Fifth Street. One runs there near the east side, or near the west side of the road, the other runs further to the west.
Want to tear the old ones
Closer
out?
to, like I said, that path, west runs down the road, east runs to basically adjacent. There was a green space, there's pavement. So both of those sewers are 2 things. One, the town of Haubstadt has very, very high peak flows, right? So average daily flow may not be that big of a deal for the community or for the treatment plant. We for treatment plant, you ever handle it, but the peak flows are very, very high. So the initial plant was built in 64. There's an upgrade due at 99 as well. And currently, not only can the plant has trouble handling the peak flow, there's also no way to get the flow to the wastewater plant because of the bottleneck of the main interceptors that run across David's property from the school as well as the south side, the south entrance there on Fifth Street as well, right? So this project is to construct a larger wastewater treatment plant that can handle the peak flows, but not even handle the peak flows. You have to get the peak flows to wastewater treatment. The wastewater treatment plant's got bottlenecks feeding the plant, which then results in surcharge as well as difficulty of getting the water to the plant, surcharging people, difficult flushing their toilets, etc. Right? So the project includes both phases of that. And it's not that the town has performed any work reducing the I&I over here. But they've done multiple projects to I&I reduction throughout the community. It comes to the point where I&I is I&I. You can't get all the I&I out. At some point, you just got to get it there and you got to treat it. And that's where the town, Commonwealth, and Montpelier came to conclusion over the last, it started in 19. Their PPR was submitted in 21 as well as 22, 23 again. So it's been on the PPL. As Sean mentioned the PPL. It's not that this was just submitted one time back last year. The PPR, as well as revisions in the PPR and further justification, the funding agencies that provide financial support to the town. It's been on this PPL for since 22, maybe even 21. So it's been on there for multiple years.
All right. You said a lot there, but you still haven't answered the question. Who's gonna pay for coming across the properties? They're gonna have to put new easements out, correct? Them have not even been discussed yet where they're gonna go. Got some general ideas. That's all I have to be. So we're gonna have to buy some more property.
And so part of the process there is the easements will be drafted up, or the easements have been drafted up. The easements will then be submitted for appraisals, right? Then presented to the owners who they that. Then from that standpoint there's appraised value for the easements or the land needed in order to get to sewer or whatever infrastructure it is to get to.
Well, you've never got the price of that, but you haven't told the landowners what that price was.
Correct.
I know these guys may be wanting to be at 5 minutes, and the reason I'm not is Steve Dirksen, my counsel, right? I can't respond to him. You guys can. I have it. So
I'm just,
You're doing a fine job, Eric, but I'm just telling you why I'm not
I-
jumping in here.
So the project includes everything, right? So it includes non-construction costs, soft costs, closing costs, construction costs, the whole 9 yards, right? So included within this budget is an estimate of what it's gonna take to complete the project in its entirety. Right? So the dollar amount is not known for certain, right? We have to follow any of the public bidding laws, right? You have to advertise, you have to publicly advertise, you have to publicly or open publicly award and the whole 9 yards, right? So the budget this is a budgetary number with based off of thorough analysis of what the cost is going to be. But in the end, the budget will be determined on where the project comes in, which John alluded to when it comes to the closing costs. What is we're not closing on a bond or closing on a loan at this point here because this is a budgetary number.
this has been brought up because the town has had their employees and other people on our properties taking off things without our permission and without our approval. I'm not very happy about that. I don't even know where the project's gonna run to, and they've never got a corner post stuck out my field, in my sister's field. But I'm just not very happy with it. That's not how things should work. The people, you're gonna be in somebody else's field, drive a corner post in, or surveying stakes, you should let them know what's going on. That is. Everybody involved here should know that. If you don't, shame on you, you should have done research. Well, we had to bring counsel in. Be involved in this. I'm just not very happy with it. And that doesn't make the project go in these, but you have to go through multiple places to get it to the sewer. So when you make the person mad that you have to deal with the most, it makes it hard for everybody. I don't think any of you would like to come out and find out that there's stakes in your property that somebody else is gonna be used with some of your property. You have no idea what they're gonna pay for it, you have no idea where it's gonna go to, or what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, or anything else. So. That's where I stand right now. You're telling me they're gonna do this project, you know how much it's gonna cost, but you don't know what you're gonna pay for the property, you don't know what you're gonna pay for the easements. You don't know exactly where it's gonna be, because nothing's been approved yet. You're not really giving everybody the full story here.
There are some other options too. As far as the next road is right.
Okay,
Don't require easements.
but we still have to hook up everybody that hooked up now. You're not gonna leave anybody stranded without sewer. At least I don't think the town would. But. That's gonna cost. Money there, depends where the lines come through, how they're gonna hook everybody else back up. If this is all cut and dry, I think that some of the largest water users in town would have some idea where it's gonna be.
So I'll respond to that, Dean, a little bit. We've met out there and kind of walked your property
Yeah.
and talked about some different locations that maybe the new sewer line could follow instead of following the existing sewer line as it lays now. I thought, that you might be aware that, that we're gonna have to get some surveys, and that's my big part of my fault, that we should have let you know that, hey, there's gonna be some surveyors out there, and they're gonna set a few stakes, here and there. And it's mostly just to, so that the appraiser then could come in and do an appraisal property. We don't know what we're gonna offer for that property because we've not had an appraisal done yet. But, yeah, I'll take a lot of that blame that, we didn't notify you or didn't give you better information on what we were doing. But, we just kind of thought that, we've talked about this, we've talked about where this sewer line, where your preference would be for it to run and that sort of thing. And that, we got to get surveyors in here and get this marked up. And we should have let you know that there was going to be surveyors in there.
Because I've been told before, we might even be stuck on the old sewer system. Just let that go and let us use the old sewer system and not be tied into the new sewer system.
Yeah, I don't know that we discussed that often, I don't think so. But, yeah, you know, there's a possibility that the new sewer line could go right where the old one that too. You know, I don't think that's our best option by any means, but, you know, like I said, I'll take the blame on that we should have kept you more informed and let you know.
Thank you.
Better.
Okay, anybody else for public comment? You state your name and where you represent.
We should forever increase, or they're out the bond shit. So, yeah, this bond, we have, the term on it will be 30 years, so. I don't think we'll there, they are probably a lot of them, yeah, but that's gonna be the term on, so those rates will stay, for that duration. We have 30 years. I mean, after 30 years, we'll.
30 years will need another expansion.
Okay, another expansion.
Typically,
Yeah.
20 year, 25 year plan.
Yeah.
A new plan.
How much you'll request, how much you think you're gonna do request, how much will new ground? So.
Right now, very little. I have a lot of prospects, and, you
I
know,
know you're overtaxed.
that now, the plant handles. Plant is actually in pretty good shape for being 27 years old. But it's a rainy benefit.
You got construction now. Yeah.
Sure, residential is actually not a big deal. You could say, we'll take it like residential, we can get it.
A lot of people.
If they end up seeing that, that's the big blow.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff on Shannon's down. But those injuries.
A lot of perimeter drains, a lot of,
Might be part of the problem.
It is for,
Our dry flow goes from, 200,000 to roughly 2 million. Or I've seen it, in short amount of times.
Yeah.
This study was what, 9 million? A short amount?
Yeah, so as part of the design, Aaron, so as part of the design process, to size the plan and what the plan needed to be. I mean, there was flow modeling done as well to identify what the capacity of the plant as well as the infrastructure is. It doesn't make any sense for the town to put all this money in to get wastewater treatment plant up and running, right? And not go through the process and ensure that it's sized properly. You don't want to undersize it. And there's no reason to oversize something you're spending money on that you're never gonna use, or you're gonna use it so far down the line that it doesn't make sense to have the facilities that flips now. So like your current plan is, I think, right at 820,000 gallons a day, right? 0.8 right? The average daily flow isn't that big of a deal, what we'll call average daily flow, or it's just your dry weather flow, it's not that big of a deal, they can handle that. It's the peaks, the peak day and the peak hour. I mean, you're looking at 820,000 gallons a day. The peak hour for a 10-year 1 hour event is like 9 million gallons. In the peak day, we consider a high sustained flow is over 4. So you're talking a 10+ peaking factor from dry weather to wet weather. And that's that in East Park, about how much flow that they should have planned. That's not it. Getting the flow to the plant is just as much of a problem as it is the flow actually going through the plant. So they may be seeing 3.5 MTD now on an hour basis, but they're surcharging for 5 blocks, 1.5 miles up the way, where they may not be blowing manhole rivers, right? If you got a sewer that's 15 foot deep and it's got 9-foot sewage in it, you take that for 10, 15, 20 lines for 1,000, 2,000 feet. We're at a ton of volumes there that can't even get to the plant.
I understand that, but I got one question. We, our background is seriously. We pull carriers in, they wash their tanks. We've been putting fresh water. We have huge holding tanks. And we could process, we have RBCs, not each plant, RBCs. And we process water, but we take the water off that and then store it. And then process it once they pull out. We have lots of time to process with this.
It's more branch. You see their big,
Oh, no, this is not. I'm talking West.
well, what Fort Branch has an issue with, and we had looked at that, is you get wet season where you have 3 or 4 days like that, and that thing fills over, overflows, and then states, you know,
We had two.
and then you're still trying to.
Well, that over.
Yeah, so the plane did look, or the project did look neat, things, so we call it neat, things, right? So in the, with equalization, there's multiple ways to handle. At times, it's currently the way larger plan has small equalization things, about 175 or 76,000 gallons. The problem, what you're looking at is from the flow that you'll have to store for that period of time, you're talking a massive equalization rates. And on top of that, there's maintenance operations associated with that as well, because you can't discharge it back into the plane, treat it for a period, you got to aerate it, you got to do some additional steps, right? And piggyback on what Ty's point was, it sounds great when you get one event and then you don't get an event for another month, then you can trickle back in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 million gallons back into the plant when you don't get a rain event. But what happens when you get that rain event, right? You fill the tank up, get a big rain event on a Monday, get another rain event on Saturday, then they get some more water back in, get another rain event on the following Wednesday. And then you end up having this equalization base that's holding things for a month. And then you can never get it low enough to then be able to hit that buffer, where then you can actually get it into the plant. So regardless if there's an equalization base, it would have been massive, or it would have been a decent sized equalization base. You still would have had improvements at the plant in order to handle the capacity, because you need to be able to get the liquid or get the wastewater out of the equalization basin in a timely manner. So then you're not always trying to play catch up. You're always trying to play catch up, additional and cost, plants running have harder more often. There's nothing worse on pumps, blowers, anything, have to run 100% all the time or for extended period. You try to size it where you can be maintenance. It can be no different than driving your truck 100 miles an hour for 3 days straight. That's terrible for a truck. It's no different for a pump either, no different from a blower or anything like that. So your equalization point was a diameter.
Any other rubber down? I'll just make one more financial comment, because we did talk about the project being like a $17 million project. We're not gonna issue $17 million of debt. And the reason because your council, your operators, your clerk treasurer, they've been able to set aside about $800,000 of cash on hand. And that's from rates that were set in 1999. So which I find kind of strange is they set rates in 1999. They have not had a rate increase in, I don't know, what's that, 27 years. So they've absorbed the inflationary costs year on year on year and still have been able to set aside $800,000 because they knew for 7 years this project was coming. So they said, we got to set it aside, we got to set it aside. So when I put together the financial package, that's one of the things I actually said, is there, while there's no Oprah grant, and Oprah grant usually is on the order of 750,000. The town said, you know, we didn't qualify for Oprah grant, but we paid 800,000. So that's gonna go directly to the project and reduce the amount of bond issuance that we're gonna have. So that hadn't been mentioned yet, I think it's what thought planning that the council and the operators really put together to get ready for this.
We've also been able to cut about $1.5 million off of the project. Some different items that, you know, maybe we can do down the road, or maybe we won't be able to afford to do at some times. I agree. I don't think we're looking at 17 million. That was just a kind of a high-end number, and, I think we'll probably be down more like 15, but, you know, that's still a lot of money.
So the 45, Ryan is like, the $45 increase, then is that for the 17 million or 15 million, or what's that in preference?
So the,
And I get it, it hasn't been raised.
that's what we would call an interim rate. And the reason we call it interim is we don't know what the final rate's gonna be. A lot of times, prior to the debt issuance, we're gonna have the rates in place. And so when we get close, we work with the financing institutions and say, I need more than what they call an indicative rate. I need a market rate. And so then they'll give us a market rate. And with that rate, what we'll do is we call it true up the rate. So we don't know exactly where that rate's gonna wind up just yet. Because also another big variable is how hungry the market is from a construction side, how good are our cost estimators. you know, that number could float on there as well. And also, I'm sure they're gonna wind up getting up with alternatives, you know, and Brian just alluded to that. When they get those in the council and utilities sit down, they'll say, yeah, we want the base, we want these, this is the true number. Based on that true number, that's when I'll be there and I'll say, okay, what's the scope? What's the actual cost? What are the actual rates? And then we'll wind up screwing up the finances at the very end. But again, we wanted to do something in the summer to get in preparation for that, probably next March type time. But that's a really good question about, you know, what's ahead.
Dean David Mason again. On everybody's water bill, we get this charge called stormwater. What is that went to, or what has it done, or where's that money gone to, or what's happened to it?
It is still there and had been considered as potentially using some of it for this project as well, but mostly we're using it trying to set aside projects right behind your old house there in that alleyway. There's sitting water. We try and point areas, yes, point areas of interest and do little stormwater projects. And it doesn't really have a, it maybe helps the eye a little bit, but in the grand scheme of it, it's minuscule.
Well, I've got family that lives all over the place. I've been told everything and like, I've talked with them about water bills. Why are ours already, their rates that were set at 99, so much higher than all the towns surrounding us?
So I live in Linville. And they just recently built a new plant and had a new study done, and my sewer rate alone for 4,000 gallons is $134. And then if you add water in, it's 208. So, and then Fort Branch too, also what were they at, Brian?
Yeah, so, it's talking to them the other day, their 4,000 gallon is right at $99. That's what we're going to, we've been half of that for the last decade.
I can speak a little bit to rates. And I go back to the first funding source that we try to go to, the state revolving fund. If you go to the state revolving fund and you make the PPL, so everything, all the stars align and you actually get your funding packet. One of the things that they'll do is they'll talk to the community and through their financial advisor to say, what can they afford? And so we'll go back and forth with the state revolving fund, and they have a process what they call buy down rates. On sewer, the lowest they'll buy rates down is to about $85. So from a state perspective, $85 for a disadvantaged community, a low income community, that's kind of like their target. So that's at $85. And we've got another project that we just got some federal dollars for. They're gonna be over $100. And that doesn't make it feel any better, but it does give you a sense of, you know, when you do a project like this, a multi-generational, multi-million-dollar project, it doesn't feel good, but it's a big investment to make that happen. So just to give you some data points on where rents are.
Any other public comment? State your name.
Kelly to March, Southwest Street, kind of just switching gears on water. We just want to find out, when there's a possible start date for the water line replacement coming out, for our side of 68 that we discussed earlier this year.
Yeah, so.
We were told that we're waiting on permits. We were told that it was a possible like summer start, so we're just
That
wondering.
is correct. So the design is basically complete. We're gonna go to, we're probably looking at about 30 years.
Okay.
Sure. So field work was completed back in, mid-June, late June, I think.
So some spray painting going.
Yeah.
So,
So late June there, it is when field work is taken off and, so we're going through the permit. So there's a couple permits that have to be gotten before we can start construction. One is for the under the NDOT road as well as, we'll call the I-10 construction permit. So they're both underway now. Hopefully get that submitted here within the next couple of weeks, next week or so, and then you're talking 30-45 day period from that point there. A piece of that will likely have to be bid out, like across the vendor. The bigger.
Leave a 5 for that, then I
this, just because like we're obviously very concerned about the quality of water coming into our homes and. You know, we brought in our stuff and so it was just, we had been told possibly this summer and I'm like,
Yeah.
school starts in like.
Council
a few
decided.
weeks, So,
Right away, so.
I mean, we appreciate, but
I was just, and it just, the wheel, those wheels are so slow. That's what we did.
well, right.
Get up there.
Close the public comment section at this time unless there is anybody else. Going once. Going twice. Public comment is closed. At this time, the council can take action on the proposed ordinance and table it. And, triple action.
Thanks, everybody, for coming and sharing your views and questions, because it is a major project and I know that we have been discussing this ever since I've been on this council for years. So this has been discussed in depth by a lot of different professional agencies, and we have tried to consider every option that was placed before the council. At this time, we do have one council member not with us, and I would like to see a unanimous vote before we move forward with this. So I would like a motion to table this until next month, and then we will that'll give anyone else that has any comments or information some time to submit it possibly to the town hall, the bond, or move, if there's anything further that anyone would like to discuss, will give us a little more time to do that as far as the residents of the town. But right now, I'd like to table the motion for approval till next month. I've got a motion.
I'll make a motion to postpone the sewer Rachel next, still next. Discuss.
All in favor? All right.
I want to make one comment, and may Linda too, but we sent this letter out as a courtesy to kind of make people aware this was happening. The amount that was put in there was 4,000 gallon, which when I even started this job, they say they use that as a starting point, 2,000 per person a month, average. Well, that doesn't fit every household. But we thought, well, let's just go ahead and use those amounts. In doing this letter, it didn't double the bill. It's just the sewer. The water remains the same, but your sewer is based on your water. And we made up a few copies. We bill now by gallons, not thousands, where we used to round it off. That's not a issue anymore. It's exactly what you use. So we come up with a little cheat sheet for our first, I think she got 3,500 gallons of what your bill will be at this point. That won't take effect anyway until after all of the advertisements and everything's been approved. So it's going to be months again down the road. But I want to make it clear that does not double your bill. It's just the sewer section. There probably will be a water rate increase coming up from Gibson Water. They've told us that, but we have no idea what that's going to be. That comes from Evansville. That's just a pass-through rate, what we have to do to keep up. So I don't know if that clears up anything or not, but you're welcome to a copy of this if you are interested in that. And
we'll have them available at the town hall.
oh yeah, I got some here if you want them tonight. That bond, what got paid off years ago, which was a big relief, I felt like. And I don't sleep at night much trying to figure out, we didn't increase those rates because we could pay our bills. Now things are more expensive. All the equipment is more expensive and we just can't do it anymore. You know, we're still able to pay our bills. We're not going to hell or anything, but this way, you know, we need to do this for ourselves and our people, and everybody's going to be treated the same. Everybody on what you use is what you're going to pay for. So I don't know if that made it worse or better, but I just had to make that clear.
Well, thank you for clearing that up for us.
Well, I got hit up a lot over the weekend about, is our bills are gonna double, or it's not. So
Well, you know, everybody up here understands.
we all don't like. it
Nobody
either.
wants to pay more for anything at this point, but, like I said, listen to all the arguments and reasons and issues and, I think it's the best way to move forward. But if you don't, it's gonna cost more to have it, so. And thank you for you guys, you know, explaining things and, you guys doing all the work on this, so. Moving on, and I get a motion to approve the minutes from July.
being first.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should. Seems like we did meet.
I think we do, yeah.
Can I get a motion to open the meeting?
I'll make a motion to open the August 3rd meeting.
All in favor? Aye. Now, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the July 6th minute meeting or meeting minutes. There.
I'll second, all in favor? Eric, can I get a motion to approve the claims from last?
Make a motion to approve Byron's lines.
I'll second, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries, and can I get a motion to approve the general fund as well?
Make a motion to approve the general funds last month.
And I will second, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Wait on that for that.
Yeah.
If you want to.
That way we don't have to adopt it.
Yeah, we can vote. That's fine.
Okay. Salary orders. Things you would like to discuss there?
I was supposed to, no, for the most part, I didn't put down section 3 to 12 or whatever. But the, employees were given a 3% raise this is all for next
The next
year,
year's budget, yeah.
for 27.
I'm part-time.
Well, he gets plenty. That's not in the.
We're gonna
that's not in the salary.
evaluate his.
Yeah, that's not in the salary.
All right, well then, can I get a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-05?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-05.
I'll second that, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on to the fire department.
33 runs, break down a little. 33 runs per month is allowed, break down those results. The only thing I have, that's getting some upgraded weight equipment, stuff with the bulk of where we are now. Or one of the places of going. So. Want to see if that reflects in that. 9:45 for whatever. Standard corporate property.
Yeah, I saw you had some other quotes here and that, you know, I definitely like the most, value in your expenditure, so. I don't have an issue with it.
It's multiple dues, so we're saving $350 there, but shipping costs out there too. But then just ship them and then we'll set it.
Yeah.
So that's why the difference in the price there, that I have in the bottom.
And I get a motion to approve the expenditure of 4945 for upgraded fitness bill. Fire department.
So I'll make a motion to approve the upgraded fitness equipment. We'll vote of $2,945.
All in favor? Aye, motion carried.
Move that. Got one more at it. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Street department.
Yeah, so while I was, along with the baby car and running wherever, they've got sidewalks and got them together and, came together and reached out to, 3 people for a bid. We only received 1.
A sealed bid.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that stuff anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't like concrete.
You do that.
Well. We only have 1 bid.
For tonight,
With
it's probably worst case, we're 15, 20,000, probably less than that. But even if we did a box of block, it'd be at.
All right, well, can I get a motion to approve NOS LLC for the sidewalk repair and replacement? 2027.
What's the quote?
2026. Let's see, 1290 per square foot. And for tree, stump removal, $225 now. All right.
I went last year.
1190.
Last year we didn't do
It's
anything.
11.9.
It was 1190.
Last time. It was last year.
2 years ago. Yeah, we didn't do anything last year.
Dave did it on purpose. I'll try and make it more attractive.
So,
Didn't help.
Yeah, you didn't want to.
yeah. We'll make a motion for NOS LLC to do the sidewalk repair. 126, 1290 per square.
All in favor, or I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, anything else on the street? And water department, unless there was anything beyond what we had already discussed.
No, we did have a nice break on 68 there. And, you know, it was mentioned, well, why don't you guys just throw the sign under the road there while it's open up?
All right.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a suggestion.
God,
Reasonable suggestion. All right, and the sewer department, beyond what we had already discussed, do you have anything to present? Moving on, then to police.
From July, we had 61 souls in service. And government slots. I think he's out there from 71. Personnel is all good, but it's all good. Well, the first pursuit is.
Was that training? You guys already went? You guys already went to that overnight? So good. Steak? You guys eat steak?
All right, thank you very much. Zoning administrator.
Have a couple of more for you have any questions,
Did you? No, I didn't see anything.
I just want to mention, Martin Virtual property has been purchased by a contractor. And their plans are to tear it down and build it. That house needs to go.
Yeah,
Oh, it needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
it needs to go.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And,
Is someone that we're familiar with that purchased that or?
yes, it's, I think it's up to them, but.
Yeah.
It's enough pressure.
Well,
Yeah, I
hopefully it'll
haven't
be
seen
an
any
upgrade.
permits, I haven't seen permits, that'd be different.
Yeah, gotcha. No, I understand. All right, thank you very much. Let's see, anything further before we get to old business? Looks like we are looking for additional cameras at the ball.
Riley took care of that.
Riley?
Yes, our IT person. We
Yes, and we did,
talked earlier
we
about
did see something about,
about adding
IT that
some.
we just cannot, address this month, but we will definitely get to
We
that.
had talked a few months ago about putting some more cameras up around the ball field.
Yes.
About the batting cages and the tennis court up in that area. So Riley did, he called, sat down with them and, went through everything we have. We don't want to double, oh, you tell them. Go ahead, you did all the work.
So we're adding 7 cameras essentially. This would be primarily on the exterior of our buildings, we'll have a couple of interior. We'll see better on our tennis courts, we've had a couple of minor issues in our tennis courts, basketball region. The big expense is we don't have internet up there. So we have feeder systems that feed off the water tower. We have one on the old batting cage now, and we're gonna end up putting one on the gym, which already runs our gym cameras. We'll have better quality there, but the big expense is adding all those Wi-Fi boxes, basically. We'll have some on the shop building, which we've had some recent vandalism there again. So we'll have some more on the shop building, the rec center, batting cage, Chris's barn. And I think we're adding another one, Baby Ruth, session building. So we talked about doing this years ago and then we got scared away with the internet prices, but this quote come out to be $6,700. Try to quote another company here, they never showed up. So it's kind of where we're at on that. I don't even know.
That is, unless you have any questions about,
It's the same system, we won't have monthly.
Cloud storage and all that's good.
Yeah, and they're
It's
gonna
all
actually
upgrade.
be adding NVR boxes. Some of our cameras will be 4K, they recommended that. But we won't have any reoccurring costs, same system we have now with backup. A lot of it's gonna be fed off the gym generators, what we do is backup, it'll all be ran through the cloud. Through our gym gym generator for backup power.
and we're pretty happy with how it's going now.
Yeah, it's nice that town marshal has access, town hall has access, so we can access everything from our cell phone.
You know how many?
Sort of, kind of.
So we've actually used it to look at several different things recently, so. It's very well paying itself.
We're looking to, get that approved tonight.
Yeah, as soon as we get this, they said it'd probably be about 2 to 3 weeks before they get out here. Our electrician's already helped us out by running power. We had to add some additional power outlets in all of the buildings. He's waiting to finish the rec building. We have renters in there, the one that he wanted to get in there, so. Once that's done, they'll be there 2 to 3 weeks to install.
Thank you very much. We're looking into that. Make a motion. Yeah, it's on there. 67, 79. 6, 7, 7, 9, 12. Yeah. I maybe it's somewhere amongst this. Concrete. I got a concrete one.
I know. Hunter.
Yeah, one right there. Oh, here it is, right there it is. I got it. Yes, I have it. 67, 79, 12. Can I get a motion to approve upgrade for the camera system at the locations that Riley mentioned and are listed on this certified proposal from Quest Electronics for the amount of $67.79.12.
Well, findings. Or was it?
And
And I know that's a month and then, in the long run, it could. So,
yeah, I mean, this has been discussed a lot sometimes, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from Quest Electronics for new cameras at the various buildings. And the Wi-Fi, so $6,779.12.
I will second it. All in favor? Aye.
okay, the reason we just, I personally called the guy for myself. Our, what do we call our janitor?
So
What
She doesn't
engineer?
like to be called.
Engineer, whatever. Anyway, he's very good at it. I mean, he checks on the outdoor, bathrooms and stuff. We've left them open this summer. He's mentioned there've been a few times. Now they think it's fun to throw toilet paper, wet toilet paper on the walls. But other than that, everything's been pretty good. He would like to see the floor taken care of. The chamber painted it. The building, it looks nice. It's bright white. Lutz has went in there, made sure all our commodes were working, nothing's fallen down. The urinals are all working. Pots, everything is working, and they saved us some money because you can clean those things with this chemical rather than replace it. That's one of their favorite quotes. But anyway, so we thought, well, let's look at doing this, or I know we could paint it. I don't know that it would hold up very well, but the quote we got for putting that same concrete coating on it like we did in the gym that we have in the fire station, it's $3,180. Like I said, I know we can probably buy a lot of paint for that. So it's kind of just wondering if you guys would be in favor of doing this. I don't think you have to do it more than once. Like I said, the vandalism has not been bad. And if it continues, if it gets any worse than throwing wet toilet paper.
And this is the same company that we.
This is the same company, yeah, that did the firehouse and gym.
Pretty happy with both those.
There's a couple
Fair enough.
places in the gym that Charlie noticed, and we're gonna take a look at them when they come back up this way and take care of them. Just like a little bubble, one place. And then one of them, they just take some type of paint that blends in whatever kind of coating they use on those floors. But they definitely, there's a guarantee on here. There's a, I forget what the time the warranty is on them. Anyway, they, like I said, I just looked at them for myself and I thought, well, it don't hurt to get a quote, then it costs to get a quote, so.
We also put like a gator grip down, if that ramp gets really slick, especially when it gets wet feet going out there. And it's fine enough, you can run over with the mop, because that's what we have at the firehouse. But they're putting that on there so it adds traction, so you don't come flying down that ramp. So whenever we hose it out, it protects that. And at the firehouse, we've noticed like our main hallway, you can tell there's something that's going off a little bit. But you can feel it, it doesn't catch your foot either. So I think that'll help with the risk reduction as well.
Right.
And chamber, they use that all for summer fest and everything, it gets used. So.
Well,
that's
thanks,
what you got.
thanks to the chamber for that paint job.
There's white paint on the floor too, but I don't think it's paint.
Well,
Yeah, it looks really good, though. It's clean. So. Whatever you want to do, or nothing, whatever.
Works fine.
Huh?
Works fine.
Yeah. Just fill out the works.
Works the way-
We like a repair for the damage that come there.
We could get it out of general, I think. If not,
Yeah.
the gym, it doesn't have its own. Why
Why don't you check it out? See where exactly you want that money to come from.
because everything I go to them, if we save them,
Yeah.
due to that, Uncle Joe money. That saved us a lot, so we do have money.
Firm that up and we'll address it next month. Okay, anything further to address this month?
We're invited to Commonwealth Golf Scramble.
And I got the invite to the client appreciation dinner, but there's no rooms ever at the French Lick. Who wants to drive up there and king a room? Beautiful streets.
Aaron will give you a ride.
You know it. I'll need a ride after the dinner, I'll tell you that.
You can't get us a block or something.
Yeah.
No, but, so you all got that, right? I think that's all I'm.
All right, well, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn the August 3rd meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Uh,
Carries, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.